Hello and welcome to another Oblivion Plays video, where today I'll be reviewing the Navigraph S550 Citation extension pack that Carenado released on the 9th of March, which is currently being offered at a special release price of $595, which will be available for the next 12 days, so it'll be finished roughly on the 21st of March. I believe the price at that point will be $995, so still not an unreasonable amount to pay. Though I was hoping, as you've probably seen in my previous video, that it was going to be released for free as an extension to the citation. So if you are interested in watching the full review and tutorial and systems tutorial that I released, then please do click on the link below. But otherwise, without further ado, let's have a look at it. So, if we now turn it on, and I'll just use Shift 5 just so you can see it a little bit clearer. So the initial page that you get is a position page, so all you have to do is accept, and we're here at Birmingham. So the first thing that you can enter into the flight plan are your departure airport and your destination. So what you do is you put in EG, EB, and we're doing a relatively short flight today, just down to Gatwick, EG, KK. And then you click enter, and then you can move on to the next page. So what you need to do is, first of all, select your departure. So once you're on the flight plan page, you click the menu, and then there's a little button called Depart, and you can then select your departure information. So we're on runway 33, so you click 1, enter, and we're using the CAL 3D departure, but if you wanted to select a different one, you just click on that button, the SID button, and then, so like I said, we're using the CAL 3D one, so 1, enter, there's no transition, so we just click enter again, and that's it nicely inputted into the flight plan. So if we go back to the flight plan page, we can just scroll through that, and you can see all the waypoints up until Cowley have been inputted. So to enter, unfortunately, something that I am pretty disappointed, but I'm not sure if this could be added on later on, but at the moment there's no function to add any airways. So you have to go direct to the VORs or waypoints that you decide. So after Cowley, we're going to mid, MID, and then you click enter, and it's Midhurst, so number 2, and then return. And that just nicely inserts it for EGKK. And because this is a relatively short flight, we can go back to the menu button and click our arrival. Now, for some reason, I found this page is kind of backwards. You have to actually click the approach before the star. Because what happens if you click the star, so we're using the LUMB 1D, and there's no transition, is for some reason the approaches don't pop up. I don't know whether this is a bug or whether this is just how you do it in this particular FMS, but what we have to do is just clear that off. We actually have to click the approach first. So the active runway is ILS I08 right. Well, that's not one we'll use. I'll demonstrate the ILS approach. So number 1, and we're using the lumbar transition. And then you can enter your star. So like I said, I don't know quite why you have to do it this way around, but it's the only way I can get it to work. And there's that's it. We can now go back to the flight plan page, and we'll just review what we've put in. So we've got a couple of duplications, so we can delete them. So Cowley to mid to May, and then we can get rid of one of these lumbers. And there we go. That's all looking good. Let's have a look at how it's presented up on the MFD. Just Shift 1, and as you can see, it's inputted it with. Let's just zoom in a little bit. It's inputted with curves, so that's quite a nice touch. So the aircraft will follow it in a kind of more of a smooth fashion, although there are some kind of kinks in it. But with some, obviously, with some FMSs and FMCs, it just tends to be kind of direct lines the whole way around. So without further ado, I'll just take off just quickly, just so you can see how it works and how smooth it is. But we'll just program the autopilot to work with the FMS. Click the nav button on the FMS, and as you can see, FMS comes up on your primary flight display. We'll put the cruise altitude. What should we set? At the moment it's 6,000. We'll use 6,000. That's fine. So we need to change some of these. Change that to 6,000. That's 6,000, and then the VNav can take control. And the VNav is activated by clicking this button. If you just click the VNav button on its own, it automatically puts the FMS and the VNav data into the flight computer. Okay, so we now that we've programmed this, we can just click. So we need to put the altitude to 6,000. So we've got it to 6,000, and that will just limit the VNav. It will climb to the appropriate altitudes for each waypoint, and then once it's cleared, once the altitude is a little bit higher, it will keep going until it reaches the altitude that you've put in. So you could limit it if you wanted to let's say 4,000, which is less than what the FMS is programmed, but it will never go any higher than what the FMS is programmed for. And likewise, when you're descending, it does the reverse, so it will only go down to the altitude that you've set here. But let's get going. I'll show you, just demonstrate how how it tracks the MFD. Okay, so just make sure that the autopilot, when you click the VNav button, it switches it on. So if you just make sure that's off, and then I'll take off. But I won't fly this to the book today. I just want to demonstrate how the FMS works and how it relates to the MFD. Oh. So we'll just bring that up so you can see it a bit clearer, and we'll head off. So 50%. That's looking good. Also 100%. Nice gentle rotate. Gear up. Then flaps up, power down a little bit, and we can stick the autopilot on now. Bring that power right back. I can't work out how to change the VNav's climb speed. It kind of seems to be set to what it wants to be at the moment, but it kind of defaults out at 1,000 feet per minute. But if you let me see if I can bring up the right one. If you try and adjust it using this control, it just brings it straight back to where it wants to be. So at the moment, there doesn't seem to be a way to adjust it. As you can see, it's just tracking this flight management computer input, FMS input to the right, quite nice and smooth. And over Birmingham. And as you can see, because of the kind of the bank limit and the turn limit, it doesn't completely track it, but it will come back onto the course in a second. And we're just tracking the VNAV up, so I think it was limited to 2,700 at the moment until the next waypoint, and then it can go up to 4,000. Yeah, 2,780. And there you go, it's leveled off there. And then it will carry on tracking on up after the next waypoint. And there we go. So it's been cleared up. So I think you can kind of get the idea of the SID and how it flies that, but we'll now skip over to the star and our descent and arrival into Gatwick. Okay, so we're just coming into Gatwick Star now, so you can see Gatwick just over there to the right. And if we look at the MFD, this was our course in, so obviously it wasn't the ideal star. I was just picked up a random one just to demonstrate it. But we've come in, and then we come in from May, we're coming up here, and then the star loops round to the right, and then we can track on to the ILS for 08 right. But as before, the track or the course is all kind of nicely smoothed out, so again it will follow it in a more kind of natural way rather than having to follow a direct line onto the ILS. Okay, so we're now going to initialize our turn to the right. So what we can do in preparation for intercepting the ILS is Shift 4 brings up this primary flight display control. So what we need to do is just bring that heading around to say about 030. So that was just a warning that we need to bring the gear down, the flaps down to 5. We can change to heading mode. We need to change the nav source, so we click the nav source button to VOR1. Accidentally pressed the test button there. And then we can click the approach button. Now arm our approach. So we're just waiting to intercept the localizer. Which is just coming across now. Right, so I think I'll end the video there. As you can see, we're on the ILS, so we could continue that down onto the runway. If you've enjoyed this video, please do like it, and if you'd like to watch more of my videos, please do subscribe by clicking the button below. And if you'd like to point anything out or add any comments, please do write something in the comments section below. But otherwise, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.